Hey, today's November 22nd, 2016, and I have started to move into song number 2 in Suzuki's Cello School Volume 2, May Time. But before I get there, I want to start the practice with sort of a progress tracker on how my vibrato is coming along. So as mentioned in my last video, I was focusing a little bit more on the vibrato, trying to develop it with following with some of the video lessons I see online that some people have helpfully and thankfully posted in order to help beginner cellists like myself try to figure this out. So the last video I was just doing this exercise of this wide vibrato in which I'm keeping my thumb contact with the neck, but not too much that it restricts my movement. So this comes down to sounding something like this. And one of the things I was mentioning last time of trying to get used to is letting the right hand continue on without getting too distracted by this movement that's going on up here. So I've been trying that a little bit more in the past week, but it'll probably take a while to really get coordinated, in terms of how to develop a good vibrato. I think it'll probably in fact take months or years, and even masters or professionals still have would probably admit that they can always improve on their vibrato. That's one of those things that are just I feel will take me years to try to get comfortable with. So that's how it's coming along. And as with this motion here, with making it a little bit smaller, but not letting that restrict the movement too much, such that the finger starts to stick a little bit more, and hopefully get a little bit more higher frequency and oscillation in this vibrato. And as I'm trying to do that, some of my pressure actually lessens up, causing some of that screechiness. So I kind of have to remember to press down and keep the finger down on the fingerboard, but still allow it to be sort of mobile. And that mobility, I want it to come from the arm. I want it to come from the shoulder, using the elbow as the pivot point. And that's some of the points that I've been sort of hearing from some of these very helpful cello videos that some people have posted. So let's give this a try here. And as I'm trying each finger, hopefully I can sort of strengthen each finger a little bit more, get them used to having to press down onto the string, and also be agitated at the same time. So that is still a work in progress, as you can tell. I'm still very new to trying to figure this out, but trying to add that to some of the pieces that I've been playing in the Suzuki repertoire, it really changes the whole dynamic and sound of a particular song. In fact, that I feel like I could probably go back to Suzuki Cello School Volume 1 and redo all the songs trying to add in vibrato, because it makes it really different, and the level of skill needed to add that vibrato in at the correct points to try to make it sound good, and obviously of making the vibrato consistent in terms of how it should be played. It's a whole different skill set. So I feel like I can go back to those same songs. Not to say that I've mastered those songs, of course, because it's very difficult to sort of stay on the same song too long without getting too bored. So that's why I decided to sort of take my time with them, but still try to progress, and from time to time to review. Not necessarily review, but to go back and make sure that I can sort of relearn new things after playing a piece that you haven't played for in a while. But that's a long-winded sort of beginning to this video. But let me go ahead and try Long Ago in Volume 2 while trying to add in a little bit of vibrato where I can. Even playing the first two lines here, I feel quite hesitant to try to speed this up. That's why I'm playing nice and slowly, because even when playing slowly, I have quite a bit of hesitation in trying to sort of activate that vibrato on some of these notes. So I'm still kind of trying to work up that confidence and also the skill to be able to hit the notes and vibrato at the same time. I started actually, sometimes the vibrato actually takes me off of the correct positioning, so I start sliding down sharper than I should be, or coming up a little bit flat on some of these notes. Let's just give these first two lines one more try, and see if I can improve this vibrato. And let's continue on. So my vibrato is obviously not the sort of flow that I would like it to be. Ideally, I think from what I learned from some of these videos is that the vibrato is has a higher emphasis when you hit the higher part of the vibrato, sort of the higher end. So it's as if you're striking it and coming and sort of bouncing back to the original tone. So if the original tone is when you make the oscillation, that it should almost be like you're bouncing to it and coming back, bounce into it and coming back. And so that concept of bouncing, I saw in some other videos also talking about maybe to think of it less as a sliding, even I'm exaggerating the sliding, but even when it's tight, that it should not necessarily be sliding, but more of a sort of bouncing motion. So that you're bouncing, and as you get faster at that, it starts to sound a little bit more natural. But I'm definitely not there yet, so I'll leave it at that for today in terms of vibrato. And let's move on a little bit to see how my staccato bow stroke has been progressing on the variation for long, long ago. I think I've gotten a little bit more used to picking up the bow while not picking it up too high. So sort of keeping it close to the string. Sometimes I accidentally bump into the string as I'm making sort of a cross over to a different string. Another thing that I'm noticing in some of these parts when either I'm getting a little bit sloppy or my bow control is losing its control, that when I do place my bow back down, you start to hear that bounciness again of the bow being put down onto the string. It bounces a little bit as I try to move it. So let's keep that in mind, and I'll try to play it one more time, maybe a little bit quicker, and see if we can give this piece a little bit more justice in terms of its liveliness. This long, long ago variation.